It's a hot one. It's a hot one. As I strip the grain, as I script the grain from this hide and make this into some buckskin, because if my name is not Bucksin Cal, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we are. Mike Osborne, welcome. Welcome, Mike. We're gonna frizz this grain today. Get this grain off. Oh, I need that rubberized apron. All right, so I got this rubberized apron now. I'm gonna put this rubberized apron on over my head so that my body's not gonna touch these tannins, because I have had a problem. I've got gloves on, put some Vaseline on my arms, and I got a bucket to wash with. That's because the tannins, I'm allergic to them. I wish I could show y'all this too. I might pull this out a little bit so y'all can see. But actually the spot I'm going after now is where the grain's intact the most. But there's not much on this where the grain is intact, which is kind of a tribute to how rough the condition of the deer hide was when I got it. But I'm gonna do this the way that I was taught. Mike, welcome. Mike says he's in his shop cleaning up. That's excellent. I'm glad to see he's up and around doing stuff. I know he likes to be in the shop. I have a bunch of stuff I can do on the live today, y'all. Tons of stuff actually, and then some stuff I need to do off of live. So if you see me complain a little bit, it's because of views or something. It's because I'm like, dang man, I got to make sure I'm using my time wisely. That's all it is, guys. It's not feeling sorry for myself or anything like that. Just I want to make sure I'm using every second to the best possible effect. She does like that, huh? Summer likes the partially tanned grain. Skin, essentially. What I need to do is get this grain off, because all it's doing, it's just taking tannins away, y'all. That's what it's doing. Welcome. My name is Bucksin Cal. Also alternatively referred to as English Cal. And it doesn't want to come off easily. You can see you got to be kind of rough. You got to be kind of rough to get this buckskin off. Welcome, Jason. Welcome. You got to be kind of rough. And I got to make sure y'all got a good angle to see what's being done here. See what's happening to the buckskin. Take that. Apparently Summer likes the partially tanned skin bits. Welcome everybody. Welcome. If this apron seems like it's a little loose on me, it's because it is. I don't have it strapped. The strap broke a while ago, but it's rubberized, so it's protecting my belly from this tannic liquor, the oat bark liquor that I apparently am badly allergic to. But welcome. Carrie, welcome, Carrie. Oops, don't want to do that. I'm trying to make sure there's a physical separation between me and this. And the way I've seen them grain these before is they get one of these edges. I've done best on the edges, actually. This kind of side motion works pretty well if you're doing this. Oh no, are we freezing? Don't tell me. We can't have that. You know, I could probably tie this around this apron. What? Did I just get a super chat? Is that a super chat from Carrie? Hold on, let me get myself together here. Tie this apron on here. Did I just get a $50 super chat? What's up, Shoops? $50 super chat. I better get my drumsticks for that. If I can hit the drum 50 times. $50 super chat. I know I got another pair of drumsticks here, but just to make sure I got them. Shout out to Mike for the drumsticks. $50 super chat. That's 20. 30. One more. That's 40. And that's 50, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Carrie. Friend of the program, Carrie. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate everybody being members. And Carrie, welcome. Carrie is a valued member. Thank you so much for that super chat, Carrie. Let's go. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we're going to set a little subscription goal today. Oh no, Jason. It may be that your gift membership expired, Jason. Sometimes that happens, man. I have a lot of great members that give away gift memberships, and those only go for 30 days, and then you have to renew them, you know? So thanks to everybody who gives gift memberships. Jason, we still love you even if you're not a member. Of course, we love you to be a member. If anybody is trying to be a member, that little $ in the bottom corner, you hit that, become a member, hang out with us. We do members only chats, etc., things like that. It was probably that, Jason, that somebody gifted you. Last month, I had over 250 gifted memberships within the month, right? So right now I have about 200 members, and only about 25 of those are renewing members. Everybody else is a gifted member, right? So it's a trial on a trial basis, basically. I'm gonna start making it more worth folks' while to be members here too. And I'm excellent, Rob. Rob said, how is everyone this wonderful Saturday? Brilliant. Brilliant. Wow, this is going to be hard to take off, y'all. Stay with me, man. Shout out again to Miss Carrie Frasca, Mrs. Carrie Frasca, for that super chat. And let's keep it moving, y'all. Oh, I got to set a subscriber. We got to set a subscriber goal. This is what we got to do every time we do a thing in this thing. Let's go back here. 5177 is what I started the day with. That's what I'm at right now. Ladies and gentlemen, do subscribe to the channel. I need to get to 5190. And so I'm going to say 5192. Columbus sailed this ocean blue when I had subs of 5192. See what I could do for you, 5192. Mike in the chat. See Mike in the chat. Did see Wes was live. It was Wes's birthday the other day, so if you see Wes, tell him happy birthday. Got this little cut on my thumb. Oh, I got a raccoon that I'm tanning, or I should say tawing, in alum over here. There's a lot of raccoons out today. I could have got me another raccoon, but my truck was making funny noises, so we went ahead and passed on that. There you go. Rob said, as of today, I am officially self-employed as a content creator full-time. There you go. Shani said, nice work. I say, do it. Ain't no other way to it but to do it, right? Ain't nothing to it but to do it. So let's go, Rob. Oh, this thing don't want to hold. Being stubborn. We want to get all this grain off because I'm going to put it back in tannins, and I don't want to waste any more of them on this stuff that's not getting tanned. Also got another solution for tanning without adding color. We've had an ongoing conversation about that. Soft tanning and tanning without, what do you call it? Imparting color. We've had a long convo about that. Mike, oh, was it Mike's birthday Friday? Or is live? Let's go back. Mike said smash that like button, y'all. Also, Carrie is a boss. The temp here is about, it's in the 80s, probably mid 80s. It's warm, really warm. Carrie, to answer your question, in case Heather did not, she probably did. Yeah, see how hard that grain, it's real stubborn in some places. And then in other places, it just came right off, no problem. Once again, congrats, Rob, for taking that leap of faith, stepping out on faith. It's hard. Oops, you don't want to do that. I'll put a little hole in it right there. So as we scrape, we get down past that grain and onto the soft stuff. Like you see, the grain's already missing here. I don't even need to scrape that. I need to find all the spots where there's still grain and get past that. Like here. And then when we impart color, it should start becoming even. I want to show you something on this squirrel hide in a second too. So maybe I'm scraping already scraped areas here, because that right there is definitely grain and it's coming up. That's what I expect to see, right? And like I was telling the short, I think I said this on a short. It may not be out yet. I schedule them kind of. But on the short, I said this deer was badly decomposed. It had nothing left in the gut sack really. It was. I wanted to work one that was in bad condition, you know, just to put myself to the test and to see what's possible. Kind of a glutton for punishment, I suppose. So I collected this one in pretty poor condition. And I think the hardest part for me was obviously the ick factor. When I was working it, the ick factor was a thing. But once you get past that, I'm actually more scared of these oak bark tannins, because the ick factor, later on you get over it, and then as you put it through the tanning process, it doesn't even resemble that anymore. As it gets past a certain point, you don't have any smells anymore. There's no smell of rot and all of that. It's gone. I want to take this whole section off right here. Round this part off here. It's either belly or leg. It looks like leg. I don't usually keep that. Probably have a knife down here I can do it with. Yeah. Not a very good one, but we'll use it. We're going to take this section here off. Thanks again to Carrie for that super chat. So I think what I was doing here, maybe scraping areas that already got the grain scraped. So I don't want to do that. I want to get these spots where the grain is on it, and you can kind of see that. See those shinier, lighter colored areas there? See that? Hopefully you can. That's the spots I want to get. Everything else, it'll just take time for me to re-tan it so it imparts color evenly on it. You probably can't see it past my arm. I'm looking at that shot now. So sorry about that. I'll do it again. I'll show y'all again. Hopefully what I did to this all this scraping here won't weaken it to the point where it won't be worthwhile anymore. Generally, it's hard to do that. That's the flesh side that you're looking at right there. This is the grain side, or the hair side. Some of it, yeah, Rob. So like as I squeeze stuff out and scrape, some of the tannins leach out, right? And on this grain that I'm scraping, that absorbed a lot of tannin. So I'm trying to get rid of it because I'm not keeping it. So it's no sense in using my tannins up, which are a limited resource, right? I have to collect them by hand. So yeah, answer to your question is, yeah, when I'm scraping, like you can see what I just scraped off there, clearly remove the grain and the tannins that were in the grain. The grain being this skin-like membrane on the surface, or where you have hair. You can kind of see it right here. It's almost intact. It's what you think of as leather, right? And as I have said and will say, this hide was in really poor condition. So what I'm trying to do is see I think I have a theory. My working theory is that you can make pretty decent buckskin, not leather, but you can make decent buckskin out of pretty badly decomposed deer hide or any sort of large animal hide, if necessary, if you're in a pinch, you know. When would that become a problem? You never know, man. You never know. Long-term survival situation, potentially. You know. But knowing how to work the skin, knowing the difference between buckskin or frizz leather and leather that has the grain and stuff like that, and how to work them both. Either way, it takes tremendous brute force. You're using brute force in this leather process a lot of the time. Definitely, I could see how it would be a young man's game, you know, in the real tannery business. And then when on this draw knife, when I get too much flesh or schmutz, it stops that blade from working, and it's not real sharp right now. It's kind of dull, which is kind of how I like it. And as I get more and more of this stuff off, it's going to tan more and more evenly. We're going to start seeing it imparting an even color. And then you'll see these grain parts start to stand out, and I'll be able to, they'll get smaller and smaller. I'll be able to scrape them easier. Woo! It's warm out here today, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you for those likes. Make sure you like this channel. Right now, what we're doing is making leather, and then we'll be doing leather work also. We're making leather and making furs too. I got some tanning going on with some furs here too at the same time. I'll show you those in a minute once I finish scraping this grain here. Bucksin Cal, that's what they call me. I don't know. I didn't make it up, you know what I mean? Or maybe I did. Who knows? Maybe I do like it. Buckskin Cal. Back again to scrape some more leather grain. You can see some of it right there. See, there's some intact grain right there. See that? Who threw me a super chat? Mike Osborne with the super chat. Woo! Mike, appreciate you. Appreciate you, Mike. Let's get them drumsticks out. Get them drumsticks out. Give them a little. Mike Osborne with the super chat. I would hit the like button, but I'm afraid I'll actually like report his message because I got these gloves on. Oh, maybe I can get it. There we go. Calvin does like that. And thanks again to Carrie for that big old monster $50 super chat earlier. Monster super chat. And then thank you, Mike, for the $5 super chat. Every dollar counts, as we were talking about. So again, this is the grain here. You can see it's almost intact here on this part of this leather. But to make it uniform and to tan this thing uniform, I should scrape all of that off. It looked like it would have been pretty nice on here too. If only. Didn't work out though. Too much damage. Too much damage. You can see how much tanning it's already done. Those oak tannins are potent, you know, they work well. This is called graining or frizzing. Carrie says she's making up for not being around much. Appreciate you, Mike. Hey, Thunder Gouge, welcome. Welcome to the chat. My name is Buckskin Cal, also referred to as Calvin. This is Dad's workshop. What you're seeing right now is called, it's two things it's sometimes called. It's called graining sometimes, and sometimes it's called frizzing. What you get when you finish this process is nice soft buckskin like you see behind me here. In the new shot. We very much appreciate everybody. Subscribers, members, especially members, but we love our subscribers too. Appreciate everybody. Do subscribe, please. The goal today was 5,192, folks. Let's get there. Let's do it. We can do that. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I try to interact with the folks. Try to. Sometimes I've been criticized. There's been a couple people criticize me in the past. And if I deserve it, I deserve it. I thought it was kind of heinous, some of the criticism, but you know, is heinous the word? Appalling, upsetting, also ridiculous from the people it came from. Ridiculous. Luke, Lake Effect Blues, what's up? Okay, Ralph, I was trying to figure that out in the comments the other day. Lake Effect Blues, also welcome, Ralph. We know Ralph. Yeah, you got that Lake Effect stuff up there. Ralph up in Western New York. Hey, do hit that like button and do subscribe if you have not done so yet to Dad's Workshop. We got all kinds of content down the pipeline here. You're going to see a video. I'm going to talk about roadkill, managing to make, like, this is a hide that came from roadkill. It's going to turn out nice. It's going to be a nice soft piece of pliable buckskin when I'm done. I'm quite sure of it. I'm just testing that abstract theory. Now, what it can't be is nice fine leather. You see the grain is damaged, right? So it can't be that. So we make it into beautiful buckskin, which to me is as good or better. Yeah, it's 80 plus here today. Ralph says it's almost 70 up there. That's a cold part of the country, so that does say something. So the other cool thing about making buckskin is that you don't have to worry as much now about, you worry a lot about damaging the grain when you're making leather. You want to only squeeze it out in certain ways so that you don't get pebbles and all these different effects that come from working it too hard, and also just the scratching of the grain on the many times it goes on the beam. You can scratch the grain, it gets damaged, etc. On my first hide, I was remarkably clean. I don't know how I ended up with only a few little nicks to the grain. Since then, I have struggled. Part of it, I think, is that I haven't dialed in the liming step. There's a step where sometimes it's called bucking, sometimes it's called liming, but you generally use calcium hydroxide, and it like rubberizes your hide. It opens it up, but turns it into like this big rubbery, slippery. The best way I could describe it is like a gigantic piece of rubber. Then after that, you flush it and you put it into vinegar and it softens it. You put it into a pickle. And then after that, you throw it into your tannins or you bait it, which is what I did with those other ones there. But somehow in that process, I think because I used sodium hydroxide, I ended up with damage. Uh-oh, she said 73 in Tennessee, says Thunder Gouge, but storms are brewing here. Got storms brewing. So, I don't know. I was talking about buckskin versus grain leather, so you can kind of see this is what that leather would look like if it was finished leather. And this only went into tannins like less than a week ago. And then buckskin, it's going to look something like this. What you see behind me here. Soft stuff. Great stuff, man. Yes, Rob said, does it end up being similar to suede? Yes. Suede is just the name for this type of leather made by, they use a machine with a very fine blade, almost like a rotary, similar to a what you cut veneers with, and they split grain suede like that, and it's usually from a pig. So, yeah, buckskin is like the grain scraped off of deer hide typically. You could probably do it with any hide. I think maybe with a pig or a cow, you scrape that grain off, it's still real stiff. So you probably have to scrape the other side a lot, and that's why they think they call it split grain. But they take this machine and split the grain off of it, and then the other side is even split. So yeah, it's very similar to suede. The consistency is suede. Mainly off grid. What's up? What's up, man? How you doing? Love that off grid stuff. Mainly off grid. What we're doing right now is scraping buckskins. This is a deer skin here that was pretty well decomposed. But I put it through some tannins, and you can kind of see how the grain is damaged here. So we're scraping off the grain. We're going to put it back into oak tannins. We're going to tan it some more. and turn it into buckskin. Hey, thanks. It looks rough, but it will look like this, you know. It will eventually have this beautiful look, right? Where it's soft and pliable, right? Just everything takes time. So stay with me if you want to know how you do this. What is the process and what am I doing? There's a lot of stuff we can do, and you can check out my videos, of course. I just kind of started doing this a few months ago. I always wanted to, so it was always in the back of my mind. But tanning isn't something that even the hunters don't traditionally do this. When I talk to hunters about it, they're like, I don't know nothing about that, man. All we do is we throw that out and let nature take its course. That's almost a quote of what was told to me when I brought it up to folk that I know, right? I don't know. We don't mess with no hides. That's what they said. Well, the thing is that for many of these folks, it's actually they just want the trophy, right? They don't even want the meat, because if they did, they would be doe hunting more than buck hunting. But anyway, you hear that a lot of like anything that's different than the straight down the middle stuff. Like I used to know guys that would go turkey hunting, I'd be like, what do you do with the hen? Strip the breast off, throw them in Italian dressing, put them in a bag, and cook them like that. Every one of them said that same thing. So there's a lot of rigidity. People are good at following instructions, right? I'm the guy that's got to come and say, okay, here's what I think, where I think you can break from these instructions. And I'm willing to take the failure along the way, you know? And that's with anything I do. I did that. I would say that's the same thing with the bunk bed. I was willing to take the failure of either failing to construct it or engineer it properly, or failing in the design or execution, failing to have the wherewithal to finish it, whatever the case may be. Did I miss something? Yep. Oh, I didn't. Critter Getter, what's up, man? What's up, Critter Getter? I got my, I think I got the tanning without a tanner thing figured out in a couple different ways. A couple of different ways you can do it while Critter Getter's in here. But I think I had a question, right? Somebody asked me for a question? Oh yeah, it's a regular draw knife. It's not a fleshing knife. Fleshing knife would be shaped like the contour, would have a sympathetic curve with the contour of the log. This is a woodworking draw knife. That's why it's straight. Like a real fleshing knife will have a curve to it, like a good one. A sympathetic curve on top and bottom. Yeah. But it's similar enough to get the job done for me. Yeah, so I got this raccoon hide in here. This is tanning, and this is a diluted alum, right? Food grade alum, so it's not anything dangerous. And it's sitting in here. If it sits in here for 3 days, it's approximately, with the salt and the alum that's in here, it should be tanned with no color. You don't have any color that you add to it at all. So that's just alum and salt, and that's a tan right there. It's a raccoon hide in there. Just testing it out. I think it's going to turn out well. The other one I have is oak galls. They won't impart color either. So you can tan with oak gall tannins. I've got a big bag of them out here. I know this huge tree that I collect them from. And then you just cook the oak galls, and you put the hides in those. You got to be almost careful because there's so much tannin in those oak galls. They'll actually do this thing called case hardening, where they get a little too tan and you can't tell because it's clear. The oak galls are actually clear tannins. You can't see them at all. Makes them kind of useful for somebody who's trying to impart tanning without imparting color. But what's up, everybody? Does a sympathetic curve say, oh, poor you, to us, as if we feel like crap? Yes, that's the sympathetic curve says, I'm sorry that you have to be a curve also, but I'm a curve. I totally sympathize with your curvedness. I sympathize with it. Right now I'm taking the grain off of this this deer skin that was heavily decomposed. I made a little short about it. I'm wasting tannins on this grain, so I'm taking the grain off wherever I see it. Which isn't a lot of spots, but it is heavily damaged for sure. We're gonna get some useful product out of this. That's the idea. I don't think you missed too much there. Let me go back. So welcome everybody. Appreciate you being here. My name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Do subscribe to the channel. Do double tap that like button. What I'm doing right now is taking a draw knife, a woodworking draw knife, and scraping grain away. That's this membrane on the top of this deer hide that's been in tannins for, I don't know, a week, maybe not even that. You see the grain right here. This is the grain. It was damaged so bad on this hide that it doesn't make sense to keep it anymore. But when you cut that grain off and scrape it off, you end up with a good product that's called Buckskin, which is like this, right? That's Buckskin. And it's a good quality of leather, especially for garments. So we're gonna keep going with the removal of the grain. My whole theory in here is that it basically can't be too far gone, unless the actual hide is damaged. You know, it can't be too far gone, I think, to do this. So that's what we're going with this. That's where we're headed with the philosophy here. So welcome. Hey, please do subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5193 today. 5193. Let's get me up there. That subscribe button, folks. Let's get me up. I'm going to check it here in a second, see where we're at. That's pieces of grain and stuff right there. I don't see a whole lot down here. This looks mostly like maybe partial grain. I want to put it back in the tannins to see. Yeah, I don't think that's really grain right there. Yeah, that's not even grain. Just schmutz of some kind. Some right there. Let's scrape that off. There is a kind of a way that works best to scrape grain off. It is kind of difficult. You got to put your body weight on the beam. And it involves a sideways, like a diagonal stroke. It seems to work best. I had heard that before, this diagonal stroke. So almost on the side of the beam, you get the best scrape. So as you're rotating, you're kind of putting the spot you want to work to the left side on your beam, or at least that's what I've done, and it's been effective for me. You know, that's all I can speak to here. And then eventually, after I scud this thing repeatedly over and over again and put it in tannins over and over again, that will all be gone, and we'll have a uniformly colored product. Which is what I need. I don't want a patchy looking thing, patchy looking stuff. I don't want that. I did want to go live and say hello to everybody, and also let people know that I'm going to be working on long form videos and cleaning the shop some. Kind of like, if you've been watching Wes, he took a little bit of a break to do that too. I'll say it was somewhat inspired by that, because there's some cleaning needs to be done out here, and it seems like it may be the land of diminishing returns in some respects to be live streaming all the time. I got this video, I'm almost done with it, got the assembly put together, so I really would like to get that out, even if it's not successful. As y'all know, long forms, even when you spend a lot of time on them, they can end up not very successful. I gotta try, you know, because that's where the That's where the long-term investment, even if it's a gamble, it's a long-term investment there. These live streams, they're not like that. As if you know, if you're a live streamer, you know this. And I'm telling you stuff you know. Mike believes in us. Let's go back a second. This is my fingers. See, I got these. It's my fingers in the gloves. I can't really adjust the screen. But if you said something I need to see, I do have people review my chat, you know. That's why I find stuff out later sometimes. People, I'm notorious for that, actually. What I do when I pop in a live stream, just what I do. I'm just saying what I do. What I do is say hello to the person that's running the live stream first. That's the first thing I say. All right. And then I say hello to their chat. And then I wait, and I don't usually say anything because I don't want to interrupt or draw all the attention to myself. Just me. This is just what I do. Just what I do. Not judging anybody else for what they do. Right? Just what I do. I believe in it too, Mike. I believe in this family here. You know, it's a bumpy road, man, you know. And all along the way, you find that there's people worthwhile, and sometimes there's people that are not worthwhile. And then you find out you make mistakes too. Like I made a bunch of mistakes. I've already made a whole bunch of mistakes. I'm sure I'm going to make a whole bunch more, you know. Got to believe in that you have something to offer, you know. Some people are really good at stuff, but can't do it on a live stream. Can't do it when they're on the spot, or it doesn't entertain folks to see them do it, though their final product is good, right? So you have a situation where you have, hey, I missed something? $50. Let's get there. Ghosts in here, man. Ghost coming from? Might have crawled down my windpipe. Never know out here in the country. Never know out here in the country. What's the countryest thing you've ever done? The countryest thing that you have ever done. It's open to debate. Even if you're a city person, if you're from England, there's country folk in England too. Most parts of the world speak beer can in some way, shape, or form. As my cousin says. I love that. Ever since he told me that. Countryest thing you've ever done. What? Oh man, I really need those. I need that for when I'm skinning animals. For sure. I'm right now. I'm racking my brain trying to think of the countryest thing that I've ever done. Lambing. What? Okay, Rob. What is lambing?
The look of joy on your face right now.
I mean, my imagination is going crazy. Okay, there you go. Country music. See, that's two people. Who are the two people? First people to answer. People from England, right? Boom. See? What? Mims in the chat. Mims got something country. Mims has to have. What's the countryest thing that you've ever done? If it's something repeated, like I used to chew tobacco and drink drinks, obviously at the same time, it would upset people. There you go. I've chased a couple of those around before. Delivering lambs, okay. Yeah. Yeah, delivering lambs. I mean, Rob's out in the country, so I figure he had something country that he did. Gotta have some. There's a lot of sheep out there. I remember them putting me to sleep too. I literally counted sheep when I was on the bus in England. You could like look over the little stone fence and count sheep. And it would put you to sleep. Woo you to sleep. I used to love helping delivering lambs. Must be a market for lamb that I'm not aware of. Besides the wool, this is the meat market, right? So these lambs are presumably going off to slaughter. Though we all know lambs and sheep are not the smartest. Wes is in the chat? Welcome, Wes. Countryest thing you ever done is the question. What is the countryest thing you've ever done? We had some country sheeping, lambing. Sheeping, lambing. There's a receiver for the New Orleans, for the Carolina Panthers that said, they asked him what his favorite food was on a podcast, and he said it was raccoon, and he has a very thick draw, and they couldn't even imagine. This is the Amon-Ra St. Brown and his twin brother that ran this podcast. They had, I think they're from up north and the city. They had no concept of what eating like raccoon was like. Neither do I, actually. I've never eaten raccoon. I've never eaten raccoon before. Wes Dozen said the countryest thing I ever done was my third cousin. It's pretty good. What? No, get out of here. That was good. Cow bingo at my high school once a year. Like, is that to win a cow? Oh man, no you have not. Cow tipping is a myth. Oh my gosh. Here we go. So I'm countryer than Mike. I just learned that. It is not a real thing. It's not. No, cows sleep on the ground. Sorry to disappoint everybody. Cows sleep on the ground. Whenever I hear someone say cow tipping, I always think it's hilarious. It's the urban myth of the urban myths. I bet if you Google it, it'll say it's an urban myth. Cows sleep on the ground, guys. Come on, y'all. This is from a guy who, spent my childhood years on an Angus farm, a lot. Those cows sleep or awake. They ain't letting you get within 100 yards of them. As soon as your foot gets anywhere near them, if you're not the farmer giving them food and they don't recognize you, they're either gone or they'll charge you. It depends on the situation. If there's calves there, they'll charge you. But countryest thing you ever did. I walked the cow. Cows don't sleep. There you go. I don't know. Do cows sleep? I think it's a myth. I don't think birds sleep though. I checked that one out, but I think cows sleep. I had to explain to the kids what a cow's doing when they're chewing is they're not chewing new stuff usually. Like, people didn't understand the concept of cud. Dub Beatsify, welcome. Threw cow patties at my brother. My brother threw a rock hard cow patty at me one time. It hit me. I developed a bruise. Yes. Yeah, I believe that about horses. Horses generally, there is a thing, and I've seen horses on the ground too, so I don't think it's always the way. But if horse is on the ground too much, they generally think there's something wrong with it. But as far as cows sleep, and it's on the ground. It's not standing up. I love that one, man. I used to always try to tell people, nobody be like, you're lying. I went cow tipping. I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Highly perpetuated lie. Got my pallets broke down before weather. There you go. They sleep around 4 hours a day is what DT says. That's what Rob said. Dirt clod fights. Oh, man. I remember one of those with my cousin and my brother, where my brother got hit in the face. We had just been tubing down this creek. We call it a crick. That's how, it's kind of country. But we were tubing down the creek. All right. And we got stuck behind some beaver dam or this is what happens when you get a long ways from home. And got stuck behind some sort of beaver dam or obstruction in the creek, and we had to get out and portage, so to speak. Now, I had no shoes. I completely forgot what the hell I was talking about. Mud fights. And we got into mud fights because these fields, we would sink down into the mud. It was like springtime, I think. I was there this was in Minnesota. I was there for a very long time this year. I remember. It was an exceptionally long time I was there. Got to experience all that fun stuff and had no shoes, and they have thistle everywhere. So I was thistle and burrs. So the whole way back is about a 4-mile walk back. Thistle and burrs in my feet, man. Mailbox baseball. There you go. They lay down for the say, okay, it wasn't me. Talk to my cousin into it. It wasn't me. I mean, it was consensual. It was consensual. To each his own and all that. I'm just eye spying all the grain I can find on this hide here and getting rid of it before I put it back into tannins. I don't want to waste any more of my tannins on grain that's not going to be on the final product. Shipments are going out this week, ladies and gentlemen, members. Those shipments are going out. I got it on the calendar Wednesday, and I'm going to be a man of my word here and get y'all those little leather scraps and little bits and member appreciation stuff out. So make sure, if you have not, give me that address. You still got time. Dad's Workshop, Calvin@yahoo.com. Give me that address and let me get you some gear and stuff. Not like sweet gear. It's not like t-shirts and like elbow pads and stuff like that. But we got some stuff. All right, so I'm going to say that's good for now. Because even these spots I scraped here, this is not grain. These are just spots of discoloration. I think this is going to actually start to tan now. Let me give it a once over on this flesh side real quick. Me and my cousin didn't do nothing wrong. We was yearning for some learning. We was yearning for some learning, Papa. I'm going to use my other scraper on this because I don't think I need to scrape this that diligently. Papa, don't. He didn't mean nothing by it. Really, he didn't. Honest, Papa. Y'all like that? Like everything's the Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, I might do this on a couple spots. If there's discolorations on the front where it didn't tan, and I'll scrape the back, but I don't think I need to do that right now. This side doesn't need it that bad. I don't want to take much more material off either. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with this too much. Maybe next time when I take it out. So I'm going to throw this aside for a moment. Oh my God. Oh. Sorry, like try to pull my apron off. Just to give y'all some perspective on how much tannin is leached out of this oak stuff. This stuff was like dark blackish, dark red, right? Okay, so that tint, so it's not useful now. I'm just going to throw this hide in here until I can add some more. Matter of fact, I might not even do that. I'm going to hang it over the edge. I want to show y'all my squirrel hide here. Show you something I've noticed. What we got for how's that for country? Did cow just fall off the world? No, what just happened was I caught my apron around the lawnmower's blade, the blade razor. This is a squirrel hide right here. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll notice there's a spot where it's not tan. That's not because this side has a problem. It's because there's this tiny little piece of flesh on this side that has to be scraped off. It's keeping it from getting an even color, right? Did I not hold that in front of the thing? All right, let's try it like right here, okay? This is a squirrel hide. This piece right here is not tan because there's a piece of flesh in the way on this side. Can y'all see that? Am I getting it in the, let me hold it right here. Make sure I'm getting it. That right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So that needs to be scraped. Real simple, right? Squirrel is some of the best leather, y'all. Swear by it. It's what's on the handle of that hatchet. It is insanely soft and durable, strong. So I'm going to scrape that. There's also a bit of hair on the other side that I didn't get off. I also have 3 squirrel hides in the house I got to work yet as well. Now I'm going to scrape this side here just a little. I don't want to get the grain off because this is grain on here. Oh, it looks like I punctured it somewhat right there, so I have some damage. But I'm trying to be as careful as possible as I can with this, because as small and as insignificant as it is, this squirrel leather is some of the best stuff that I've made. It's just the quality of it is extremely good. So I collect squirrel hides for that exact reason. So now that I've scraped that side of this, it should tan evenly now. Once I put it back in tan, get out of there. Let me show y'all this raccoon hide real quick. So this is a raccoon that's being tawed right now. It's a tanning process, and it's going to be tanned and preserved when it comes out, but not looking the same way as the other stuff, right? So what's in here is basically alum, which is a naturally occurring element, but it's concentrated in aluminum sulfate. So it's organic, so to speak, but it's a different process. Only one group of people really practice this tawing process. I'm not sure. I think I may be able to preserve most of the hair. There's some spots in here where the hair was slipping on this hide near the tail where it got hit. This is a roadkill raccoon. And what it's in right now, like I said, is a mixture of salt and alum, or aluminum sulfate.
Don't like take it too hard, but they are making
Buckskin Cal. Are they? Oh, do I get to like indulge my ego over here? Hey. Hey, everybody. Ego, where you at? Calvin's ego, you around here? Yeah. Oh, he's always around. He's hanging out. Calvin's ego is always right around the corner. So let me get in on some of this stuff. It is true. I mean, hold on. What do we got going on? Killed it with my bare hands. He said aluminium sulfate. It's not as if I used some methane or something like that. It's methane or some such thing. Methane. Aluminium. Adding a whole nother syllable that I don't see in the word. But, no, that's English, man. That's why that's why it's so hard for people. So hard for people because, why? Because we make it hard for them. Like, yeah, it means that too. But yeah, that, yeah. And it sounds like, oh, that word, oh yeah, it's not read like that this way. You got to go back. You got to know. You just got to know ahead of time. You got to know. It's read, not read. Ironically, see? Poor Americans. Buckskin Cal. Buckskin Cal is who changed the aluminum spelling in the U.S. Aluminium. Is it actually spelled? Is it actually spelled like that? Did you have to like unspell check that? I heard Buckskin Cal caught a train with his bare hands. I heard that too. Was once said he had. I'd heard he had too. Buckskin Cal. Buckskin Cal's gonna wash his hands in pure lie. I just take the skin off when I don't like it. I climbed a mountain to get the lava to make this soap. You may think it's a joke, but it's not. I wanted to eat a pizza, so I rode a boat to Italy and ordered one DoorDash from my hotel. You like that? I'm the best cow tipper in the West. You know, they like it when you tip them at least 15%. Got to give them at least 15%. Sometimes if they're really good, 25. There is a trick though on the bill. Take the little decimals, do a little math there. Just we get a swoop, a little swoop, and you got 20% right there. And that's how you cow tip the best. That is, if in the scenario that you have a cow as your server. In which case, I don't know what to tell you. You got a cow as a server. Hold on, what was my next thing on the agenda, y'all? I had another thing on the agenda. Oh, I got to skin some squirrels. I got to flesh squirrels. But stay with me because I got to run inside to grab those. Buckskin Cal. Oh, what buckskin is, y'all, is just, we were talking about this earlier. It's like suede. These are the ones that I cut the soles from my flip-flops out of. That's why you see all of this like this. But it's just soft. It's like suede deer skin, you know? That's what it is. I did some of these the natural way with smoking, but oh, wow, look at that. Pack of dogs, pack of wild dogs. All right, let me go grab my squirrel so I can continue this thing. Hey, double tap that screen. Slow on the dad joke. You like that cow tipping? Oh, they can still hear me. That's right. All right, let's get these squirrels, y'all, so y'all can see what kind of squirrels I'm working with, I'm squirking with. Squirrels everywhere, y'all. And grab those. That squirrel. All right, and then this needs to go too. Phase 2, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna show y'all the whole. It's really complicated how to make to tan stuff, you know. I'm gonna show y'all something. Let me show you something. Here we go. All right. Right here we got, it's really complicated to make tan. It's not as simple as just taking bark and cooking it in a big pot. Or maybe it is that simple. Let's zoom out. If we're not. So I got this big pot right here, and I got it full of this bark liquor. It's hot, but I left a little bit in this container here, so that I can not even, I wouldn't usually want to dilute it, but having this liquid in here is going to cool it off a little bit, so I can almost put this in right away. We'll see when I put it in whether that's possible. But so we're going to use this as a way to buffer the heat. I should probably put it up here so y'all can all see. So you can see. All right, so we're going to put this bark liquor. Should be dark enough and strong enough to give me a day or so tanning out of it. Stuff from the bottom is the best stuff too. The rule of thumb is if you can stick your hand in it, it's okay to put your if you can put your hand in it, you can tan in it. They didn't say that at all. I made that up. It's a little on the warm side. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes before I throw those in there. Well, actually, I don't know if I can actually place my hand in it. I'll do it. I don't care. Let's throw them in. Doesn't matter. A little bit of warmer, a little fermentation don't hurt. All right, one. What are we seeing? What's the view? Oh, Rob said, love watching you do this stuff, man. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. It's cool stuff. All right, so here's the deer hide. And I told y'all this thing was nasty when I got it. And I know it looks really bad right now, but it is actually coming around. Throwing that in. I'm gonna let that get those tannins in there. Since I scraped it pretty aggressively, it's gonna need a couple tannic baths, I think. And here's that squirrel, right? Is this the squirrel? No, this is not the squirrel. This is something else. This is the squirrel right here, where we're really trying to get uniform color imparted here. Looks like I scraped it and it hurt, damaged this side, or it could have been when I pinned it up. I don't know if I ever pinned this one though. Want to get this side tan right here, so I'm gonna throw that in there also. And then just let that stuff do its work, and then do another cook. I've got some more bark. If not, I go collect acorns and I do an acorn cook. I cook those acorns up the same way as I cook that bark up, and just till it's finished tanning. It's basically what you do. Right now I'm washing my arms because I'm highly allergic to that tannic, that bark liquor. That stuff is not me. We do not agree. I think Ron mentioned that on his live stream. that stuff doesn't agree with him. I am with him 100 on that. I had the same problem. Apparently, it's really common. Stuff is just, and of all of the different chemicals you handle, that one is the worst on my skin. Let me see if I'm back on regular view here. Got steamrollers to dodge. Yeah, steamrollers. All right, let's get caught up on what chat's saying, and then I want to show y'all what I got here. Is I think I got 3 squirrel hides here I need to work, and I don't need this apron on anymore. I've rubberized apron I did for the fleshing with the bark liquor. I can't have that stuff touching my skin. Terrible stuff. Terrible stuff. What bugs say? Use acorns and bark for tanning? Yes. I used acorns. Historically, I used acorns. This is mostly bark though, bug on this go round. But I've got a number of sources for tannins. I've got acorns, which are great, acorn caps, bark from red oak, and then I use these oak galls too. The oak galls have a much higher percentage of tannic acid in them. Nah, I was just mourning. I was so sad that I couldn't do a live stream for everybody. That's what I was so sad about that. I was mourning. That's what I was doing. So there's some tricks, y'all. Oh, I left my salt inside. I gotta have my salt. Squirrel does not like to keep the fur, ladies and gentlemen. So if you get them at all like late, or if you don't process them quickly, the fur is gone. So I generally go on the thing that I'm not gonna have the fur. I go on that. But I want to try to keep it. On this one, I got the tail too and everything. So bless the squirrels. I love the squirrels, and I love squirrels in general. I love animals. I thanked every last one of these animals. When you hunt, the thing gives itself to you, okay? It's not that you're taking it. It's like, just, sorry. Oh, the galls I know about too, making, you guys got galls over there. Yesterday, Rob said there's no way they would allow those through customs. It just occurred to me that you guys have oak galls there too. Some of them probably came from over there because the monks wrote all of all of that stuff. Oh, wow, that's a lot of hair coming out. A lot of hair shedding right there. The monks wrote all of that, those neumes and all of the manuscripts were written with oak gall ink for the most part. I want to use this and get it wet to thaw it, but I don't want to get it too wet. This one may be a... Oh, they don't want to unfurl. This was one I did yesterday, I think. This one needs some fleshing. Oh, bear galls. No, I don't take the gall bladders from bears, and I don't support that either. I don't do that. That's a Chinese medicine thing. I know that's killed a lot of bears off, to my understanding. Yeah. Yeah, I don't collect bear galls. If you're getting confused with an oak gall or gall wasp, but I am aware of what a bear gall is in traditional Chinese medicine. But I don't support the killing of bears for their galls. That's it's bad. It's really bad, actually. I think one of the reasons that the California grizzly went extinct was because they were killed for their galls. Possibly, Rob. There are several different species of oak galls. He said maybe there are different species than what we have here. All right, here's the most recent squirrel I got, salted, right? Salted to preserve it. I want to get some of the flesh from around the... Oh, I got to cut open the tail too, so I got to have my knife. Gotta have my knife. That is gonna be in my backpack in the house. But I gotta get, what else do I need? I need else did I come out here without? Oh, salt. Yeah, I gotta get me my knife and I gotta get salt. What we're trying to do, what we want to do with these tails, y'all, is we want to take the tail, we want to cut a slit all the way through here. I might use a little pull because I managed to pull this entire tail off. There's usually flesh inside of here, so you got to cut in here so it doesn't rot. And you have to salt that area on the interior of the tail if you're trying to keep it, if that's your goal, to keep the tail. So, couldn't hear you. Yeah. In the entryway where I left it near the microwave, I think. I think it's near the, it's wherever, you brought it home for me yesterday. It's maybe on the counter.
Okay, and then which knife?
The knife is, it's my, my Gerber, my multi-tool. Yeah. That's something I've used a lot. I've skinned a lot of deers with a Gerber, y'all. Definitely. And now some even funky ones. Woo! Some of the stuff I've seen, wow. I mean, I put myself through it, but it was definitely a challenge. I probably got another blade on this too. Generally with these little tails, you want to slice upward up the tail. You can use a little, I've got bamboo rods. I'm going to try to use that. I'll zoom in a little bit. Not that y'all really care about this, but you know, some of my woodworking folks, this is all new to them. I get it. I definitely have used these bamboo sticks for raccoon tails, but I don't think that these are gonna fit for those type of tails. I think I gotta have a skinnier stick for those. But what you do is essentially, nah, it might work. You can insert the stick and cut along the stick rather than cutting along the, I'll show you on that here. And then you just keep kind of working the stick in. If I could get one of these tails preserved, they're kind of hard, man. It's hard to preserve. The squirrel wants to shed their fur really bad. I've had a hard time. So what I would like to do is preserve the tail. Oh, see, look, I lost half my tail. Totally something that happens. I generally just don't even mess with the tails for that reason. All right, we'll keep it that far. I could probably do the rest of the tail separately. Yeah. And sew it. You can sew it back on as well. I might have weakened it by putting the stick through. Hey, I don't know if Critter Getter's in there. He can give me some tips on this. He ever done a squirrel before? I've done a few squirrels, but never been, I've told you, I've always had problems with the tails. Got to be gentle. All right, so I'm going to try it. I'm going to put this aside for a minute. Because I think I could probably tan this actually as it is. Let me throw this in the tan bucket. I'm just going to experiment, throw that in the alum and see if I can preserve that hair on the rest of that tail by soaking it in alum and salt. Right here. Much rather have my knife, sure. So it's coming. It's on the way. Thank you. So citric acid and salt will preserve these and keep the hair in them. As far as I know, also vinegar and salt would do that. But we're gonna do it with we're gonna put them in a bath of citric acid and salt. But we'll salt all of them separately. I'm gonna scrape this hide a bit. Let these ones thaw a second. Salt them, scrape them, salt them. And let me change the camera angle so y'all can see that process. This is a little baby. This is a tiny little thing to put on a fleshing beam, you know. But there is flesh on here. I can see some up here near this neck area. You always want to keep as much of that neck as you can too, because that's where that thick stuff is. Thickest skin near the neck and above the butt. I got my little scraping tool here. I haven't scraped this inside the tail area yet. And like I said, I threw the other part of the tail just straight up into the into my alum tanning solution with that raccoon, because I think that's maybe the best place for it right now. Squirrel got a little tiny bit of fat on it. It's a very lean animal, but the flesh and the fat, you got to get it off because it will rot quick. My whole video is about sourcing, you know, using roadkill as a source if you're making leather. If you're trying to get into the crafting of leather and you have the laws favorable to you to where you can collect roadkill, it's absolutely untapped resource. 350 million animals in the US a year get run over by cars. This is one right here. This is a roadkill squirrel. The other one that I showed you, these two are probably ones I hunted because squirrel season just ended here. And since squirrels are a problem animal in my parents' homestead, I also hunt them there year round for them because they eat strawberries and fruit from the trees. They dominate. They're woodland animals. I get it's their habitat, but at the same time, they're unchecked, and it results in a massive loss of resources. I've grown strawberries in the same clip and I get 11 pounds a day, right? But where the squirrels are, they'll reduce that to a cup of strawberries a day. 11 pounds of strawberries a day in the summer and peak season to 1 cup. That's the difference. That's how much the squirrels eat, and waste too, because they're really good at wasting. I got something Cal will like. Might be different here. You don't have to go far out to see coyotes, but we got coyotes here for sure. I think maybe they got some in more in Nebraska where Critter Getter is from, but I don't know that he's in here anymore. But he can maybe speak to that. I see he's got a lot of coyotes. They're kind of like native down there, aren't they? Aren't they a native animal? And we want to get all of this funky stuff off of here, or as much as possible. And it's a little deceiving too. You bulldoze that mess off. I don't know if you can see how I'm putting a lot of force downward on it. Dogs like these little scraps. Squirrel. Reading the chat. Let me get back to reading the chat. Sorry, y'all. My poor wife is fast asleep right now. Oak Ridge, welcome. I didn't see Oak Ridge come in. My bad. Raja, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, this is a squirrel right here. Trying to get the flesh off the kind of insides there. We just got finished scraping the grain off of a deer. Really badly decomposed deer hide. I also showed you I got an alum tanning raccoon right now. So what I was telling Critter Getter, Oak Ridge, if you're in the house, and I don't know if you are or not, was that there's really a 2-step process if you have citric acid and alum, and you can order both of those off of Amazon. Citric acid and salt is you guys always pickle them before you send them to the tanner, right? You do that citric acid and salt, then scrape it again, then make you make a mixture of alum or aluminum sulfate, and salt, and that tans it in 3 to 7 days, and just pull it out of there and dry it. So you guys, that's basically what they're doing at the tanner. I mean, it's not going to be anything more than that, and then maybe some formaldehyde too. Like if you're sending them off to the tanner, I know that that's been stated that pretty much y'all always send your stuff off to the tanner. So my quest was to find out how do you soft tan stuff and keep keep from getting it colored, right? Raspberry Hedgehog, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, we're gonna salt this squirrel hide again. I think it's ready. Well, maybe I should scrape these edges a little bit. I just want to make sure I'm not leaving a lot of flesh on it. You don't want to be leaving flesh on. These little hides are real easy. It's much harder on the big ones. Oh, definitely on raccoons too, with all the fat on their bodies. Greasy animals. Really be doing this for hours. All right, get that. Question?
Bucksin Cal, is that hide, is that what you call it, as thick as it looks?
Is it which one?
Is the hide as thick as it looks for squirrels?
It's not a very thick hide. Squirrel leather is not super thick. It's also not very thin for the size of the animal. It's also sturdy. So for its thickness, it's a very strong leather. That's one of the reasons it's desirable. It's very nice and elegant and soft and still durable, right? Good question, man. Look up. I can't because my gloves will accidentally boot somebody. The animals in what? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. And then you can think about that with naming culture too, naming heritage in Native American cultures, like giving animal names to people, right? It fits with that. Yeah, it's not bad. I can tell you that. But if the hair was off, I think you would notice it's not super thick. The thickest hide I have is this one right here. This is a deer skin, and it was a large buck. This is the thickest hide that I have. I don't know what the millimeters would be. I never like took a caliper to it. And this has been scraped on both sides multiple times, and still it's fairly thick, substantial, thicker than a pair of jeans, you know. So that's definitely the thickest hide I've done. And probably this one would be similar if I took the hair off of it. If you can see any of that, I'm kind of like not really in an area where you can see that. All right, so I'm gonna roll this up. Unfortunately, we lost a little bit of tail right there. That's kind of par for the course. I'm gonna roll this up because what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to, after I've scraped and salted it, whatever, it's gonna go into a citric acid and salt bath to lock that hair in. I didn't see Oak Ridge at all. He was just in and out. Oh, okay, cool. So the last squirrel I had was used for the handle wrap on my hatchet. But squirrels are good for anytime you need a delicate pocket, patch, something inside of a purse, a liner, you know, and with the fur on, you know, I was telling Heather what I want to use the fur on ones is on the back of my mittens. I want to spot, you know how when you're in the really cold, your nose runs? It's gross. But on the back of that buckskin, you have a little piece of squirrel fur that you can kind of wipe your nose area with, and it's just washable. Everything's washable when it's bark tan. So yeah, so that's for small pieces, basically. delicate things. And I would refer you to my my hatchet video where it shows my my hatchet. You can see the handle. I don't have it out here right now. It's in the house. So I don't have any squirrel leather that you can see, but that one is definitely squirrel all day on the handle. I was really proud of it too. Oh, raspberry, I think you actually are allowed to kill squirrels in the UK, grays, because they're invasive. But I'll ask you, bounce that off of Rob. Yeah. You are allowed to kill grays. These are grays, so they're invasive in England. They probably came from over here. We have a season on these. I think they're native here. But in England, they're not. They're invasive. And they're taking the habitat of the reds. We had this conversation, I think, on Rob's the other day. So the grays are actually not a good thing over there. But double check, always check your local laws, of course. Was there somebody said something I missed? No. Nah, bovine hide is thicker. Sheepskin is probably thinner. Goat skin is probably around the same. Bovine skin, thicker. I think pig skin, thicker. Yeah. Any bovine, but especially a bison or a Cape buffalo or something like that, a wild game buffalo. Cape buffalo is probably even like a bison. It's probably super thick. Like bison hide could probably be like that thick, 10 ounces or more, what they would call 10-ounce leather. Can y'all see when I make hand gestures like that? All right, I got another squirrel here that has not been pre-salted, so it badly needs to be just thawed, right? And now it has to be scraped and then salted immediately. I might use my draw knife for this one because it has significant flesh on it still, I think. Generally, you want to be going the same, I think the same direction as hair. This is a tricky part about having hair on with these. Want it like that. Yes, they did come from there and they're killing. Yes, that's the same thing with a couple of our other animals that were introduced over there. Oh, man, I want to say like badgers, like a certain type of badger. Yeah, it's knocking out their native badgers. There you go. When we kicked Cornwallis's ass, we sent a few squirrels over with him too. You know, I said this the other day, most British, I mean, that is English, or children in Great Britain that are in the education system, the United, you know, that whole education system, most of them do not know that America was ever a crown colony, right? They don't know that. True story. I think it was Harper's Weekly or Scripps or one of these companies went and interviewed a whole bunch of English kids. They're like, what? I think they're like the most American thing they could. This was a while ago, I'll admit. This is a little bit out of date, but it was like 2000 aughts, maybe 2000 teens when I read this article, and they said that the most American thing these kids, like, they just knew Snoop Dogg, you know, and basic pop culture things about the U.S. They had no idea the U.S. was ever part of England in any kind of way, shape, or form. They had no idea. They don't teach it anymore. Winston Churchill was part American, so they taught it while he was alive. He insisted upon it. He had this like, kind of like, he was like the way people are Anglophiles. He was like a Yankee-phile, if that makes sense. Yeah. He spent some childhood summers in the U.S., I believe. Winston Churchill did. And so that's what formed his mentality about it. Oh, no, don't slide. Okay. I'm trying not to be too rough here, but there is a lot of flesh on this hide still. Usually when I remove these, and they say there's no fat on squirrels, but I'm finding fat subcutaneous. It could be because it's winter still, so they've got their winter fat on them. When you get this like liquidy stuff on your knife, you know it's fat, and it's usually under that first layer of skin. Then you know the animal was like really healthy. But the squirrel, you know, Rob may be right. This may be a heftier, maybe some heftier, healthier squirrels. They were all males, that's for sure. I've not ever gotten a female. They're smart buggers too, man. It is a hunt. Good luck, you know, if you ever do it. That you think that they're gonna just let you get them. They're smart, and don't ever put your hands on them before you know they're gone, because they'll bite you. That is not a lie. A squirrel bite to go right through your finger. Bet y'all didn't think about that. People think about all these other animals. They're like scared of these animals, but they don't think if I handle a squirrel before it's finished off, it's gonna bite the crap out of me, and that's actually what will happen. For sure. They got attitudes. I don't know if you ever seen them with each other. Especially this time of year. They come out yip yapping like crazy. There's a red one or a fox squirrel in my parents' neighborhood. It's like a blonde squirrel. It's different than the others. And she gets harassed by the other squirrels too. I'm trying to figure out whether she's a different species. I think she's a fox squirrel maybe. Yeah, this stuff all got to come off. There you go. You want that? Got a dog under me right now, taking the scraps. Hey, am I at, what you call it? I forgot what I was going to say. Completely lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Do subscribe, please. How close to my goal am I right now? Right there. You got to sniff around a little bit, buddy. Yeah, I got some flesh on the edge here that I don't know if y'all can see that. This stuff has to come off here. And maybe the knife is kind of the way to do it. Y'all see this stuff on the edge? You don't want that on there. Benjamin wants it though. I have my disposer, my squirrel disposal right below me. Trying to get all that junk off because that stuff decomposes and then you end up with a rotting situation and you lose the fur. So if you're really, especially if you're trying to keep this fur, you got to get all that, you got to get that flesh off. You got to get it off anyways. It's part of the process. This was a fatty squirrel. Be meticulous and be a little bit brave too, because if you're doing this, because it's going to want to, you're not going to want to push it. You're like, oh, am I going to hurt it? I mean, it's already dead for one thing. And then, you know, you got to get the flesh off, or that's the way you are going to hurt it, is if you don't get the flesh off, you know. I think that's good. All right, we're going to salt that one now. Y'all saw what I did with the last one. We just flayed it out on here. If I wanted to dry them and do a smoke, like smoke tan them, brain tan them basically, I would then put them on a board. Looks like I kind of scraped it a little bit hard here and then missed the spot here. Let's see if I can get that. There you go, buddy. Right there. This is uniodized, non-iodized salt or pickling salt. You want to be very generous with this stuff. Get it all the way to those edges too. All the way to the edges. Don't leave any fleshy part exposed without salt on it. This helps lock hair in too. So if you're trying to keep hair, you've got to go through this process. I didn't really go after that tail, but it looks like it was kind of fleshed well. So now I'm going to roll this one up the same way. So I'm going to roll. Generally, they would tell you to fold it up like this. Boom. And boom, like that. That's probably what I should have done with the other one too. Let's do that. Let's unroll it. And since I got some more absorption, I can throw some more salt on there. I always just, if it can take more salt, put more salt on it. And then fold it over. This is the way they tell you to do it. And then fold it like that. Boom. All right, I got one more. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Do subscribe to the channel right now. What we are doing is, you know, survival crafts, part of the craft tree, the skill tree here. And we are learning to skin and process squirrel skins. We're going to try to keep the fur on these ones. Now, I don't know if I'm going to make that same mistake with this tail here because I already got a piece of tail in the tanning because I broke it off. But this has some more flesh on it than the last one. Let me see if I can flesh this guy, and then I'll have 3 squirrel pelts ready to go into the into a pickling bath next before they get the final process of tanning, which I actually haven't decided on them yet, what I'm going to do with them. But let's get the flesh off of the inside of this squirrel hide. First step, y'all can see how it kind of have, even after you skin an animal, there's still like a whole membrane that probably still has to come off. Sometimes it helps if you salt it between. There you go. Dogs are in here now. They know what time it is. They love the squirrels. But y'all see how it's clearing that area there? Like squirrel bacon. It's coming off like prosciutto. Sorry if that grosses people out. It's actually really good. That's the other thing about squirrel. They taste good. Yeah, man, I told you earlier, I said one of the more country things I've ever done is I used to drink soda with like chewing tobacco in my mouth. It's pretty country, right? I don't use tobacco anymore. That was really hard. Really, really hard. I'll tell you that. First, I quit smoking years ago, and then, you know, I quit doing other stuff, and I leaned on tobacco. And then I quit smoking, which was I had to use the gum to do that. I don't want to say I had to use it. I used the gum effectively to do that. And then years later, I started using like smokeless tobacco, like chewing tobacco. And that one's even harder to quit, believe it or not. And now they got all these Zen packets, all this nicotine stuff. So it's even harder because they actually want to keep you addicted. So I'm like really trying my hardest to like use these nicotine packets to quit, but they're like, oh, they're very addictive, even the little 2 milligram ones. So I think about 6 months ago I was down to like 2 milligrams packets, and then I was like, all right, after this one I'm done. And then we did gum for a little while. I bit my mouth a few times, and I was like, all right, after biting my mouth this many times, I think I'm done with the gum now too. And I had a few fallbacks where I went back, and then you know, that happens when you quit things. I think you could do it, Rob. You know, it is for some people, like people going through alcoholism and drug addiction and quitting those things. For some of them, smoking is like okay because like it helps them. There you go. That's a good piece. It helps them not use other substances that would kill them otherwise. So if they have to quit something, it's not going to be the smoking. My dad quit drinking, and for years he was smoking. Then he finally quit smoking. But some people need something. Sometimes it's temporary, and sometimes it's like it's just that it's so much. If you read about the toxin levels in those things, it's so much in all tobacco. But shoot, man, it's soybeans, dude. To be honest with you, the stuff I see them spraying on these fields down here. I went for a run one day after they sprayed. I came home vomiting. I had to spend the rest of the day in the bed. And I'm not making stuff up. This is soybean fields and cotton fields. So whatever they're spraying, man, they're going unchecked. It's stuff, we're eating it too. And if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you're eating even more of it, because soy is a huge part of a diet if you're vegan or vegetarian. And I can tell you, it's not, if it's coming from here, no offense to the soy growers, I know they're just farmers and stuff, but I think farmers do have to pay more attention to the stuff that's going on their fields, and they need to do more. They need to do more question asking about what's going out there, rather than doing numbers on how much they're going to make off there. And I know they're not rich. How much are they going to make off the total thing? And if they can't make it being honest, then maybe it's not a good crop to grow, you know? You know, some of the YouTubers I watched early on, these YouTubers like were vegan, vegetarian folks and died of stomach cancer. I'm like, what is it? Why does it seem like it's happening to them more? It's almost as if like the plant-based stuff that we're getting told is better is not, if it's being dumped with whatever they're dumping on it. I don't know what they're dumping on it, man, you know? Farm to fork. I believe in the American farm. Don't get me wrong, man, you know? But there do need to be some questions with some of this stuff they're spraying on it. I can tell you, I've seen the bottles in the ditches when I'm running. The bottles get left in the ditches. Like, I see the boxes that they're using. This has a little slippage on it. I don't know if it's going to hold the hair. I can see some major slippage on this side here. Just, yeah, this one may slip. I might not even try to maintain hair on a pelt like that. I got to think about what I'm going to do with that. We'll salt it. I'll salt it. And it has a little flesh on it, but it's taking hair off for me to flesh it out here. So I know that one's maybe a goner, like with the hair. That's okay though. The leather is really good. That's why I got it. If it was only good fur on, I probably wouldn't even mess with it. It's so small, but because the leather is so good without the fur on there. And then what we're going to do here real quick, we're going to try to run a knife up this tail. They tell you to put the knife inside of it and cut upward, and that gets a little scary sometimes when you're doing that. When you pull the animal's pelts off, it's real tempting to pull the whole thing, and then most of the time, like, I lose half the tail when I do that, so I don't expect to get like most of the tail. This was one of those deals where I pulled the pelt off from the body and it just took the whole tail with it. Yeah, it's flayed most of the way here. All right, I think we could probably save the remaining hair, maybe. We got to do a really thorough job though. And do the same thing all the way to the edges. I'm going to get in that tail too. Fruits and vegetables are really good for you, though. Don't mistake what I'm saying as that. I'm big on fruits and vegetables, man. One of my sons hates them. That's the other thing, y'all. My son's, and I don't want to take away from what Pilato's going through, which is tremendous heartache and pain. That's kind of why I didn't want to even get on here. I got one son that's going through some health circumstances, and I think I had to take a couple of days. And like, I know I was on the other day, but I was only on for a minute, and I was kind of fussy. So apologize for that. But yeah, some stuff happened. And yeah, stuff happened, and I won't get into details. I don't want to look for. I'm not looking for pity or any of that here today, in any way, shape, or form. So yeah. Anyway, I'm glad to see everybody. Happy to be here. My name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Let me check those subscribers. How are those subscribers looking right now? I'm curious, man. $51.84. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think we could do better, but it's not bad. That's not bad. Let's get back to the stream here. Pretty much did everything I came out here to do. Now the next thing we need to do is, and I don't have my other models here. This is what I got. Y'all see my buckskin models like this, where they're shaped like shoes. We need to cut that out, and then I got to stitch that down. And I have this cork, but I want to try it off camera first and make sure that it works. I don't want to make an idiot of myself on camera, though I have done that a few times, as you may know. But I'd rather, yeah, sure, no problem. Buddy said, feel free to message me. I tried them, but girls can't start asking them money. Oh, dogs, it's dinner time, dogs. There you go. See, it's kind of dinner time around here too. Yeah, send out, shout out to Pilato wherever he's at. Want to encourage people to send their support his way. Here you go, Ben. He's going through a lot right now, I know. So all prayers and thoughts go his direction. Want to say thank you to everybody for popping in the stream today. Happy Saturday to you. Love you all. Appreciate you. I want to say thank you for coming through and being open-minded about the animal processing. I know this is new to some of y'all, and it's uncomfortable to a number of you, but be open-minded. It's not about hating animals. It's about knowing the skills that you might need to know at some point to survive, and enjoying and appreciating the things and resources that we have on Earth. I appreciate you, the resource that you are, and I hope to see you next time. My name's Calvin. Please, oh, let me show you my buckskin, because I got to call myself. We got to do it. We got to do it like this, man. We got to go. Bucksin Cal. Buckskin Cal is going to be back next time with more buckskin for you. Come back and see us. Make yourself something beautiful out of wood, out of leather, out of whatever you do. Appreciate everybody, and I will see you all next time. Dad's Workshop. Take care. Do the next right thing. We're out of here.